Welcome to Edupedia World. I'm C. Radhika Singhal. In the last session, we were discussing regarding derivatives and also the different type of contract that can be entered. When there are two parties who enter into an agreement to buy or sell an asset at a specified date and at a specified price, we call it as a forward contract. When such type of contract is being dealt in a stock exchange, we call it as future contract. In both these contracts, the parties has an obligation to perform, either to make a delivery or to take a delivery. Right, one party is at a long position, other party is at a short position, but both parties have an obligation to fulfill their promises. The third type of contract that is called as option contract. In option contract, only the option holder has a right. He does not have an obligation to make or take the delivery, and the other party has an obligation to make or take the delivery. Both the parties do not have an obligation. So the option holder, he has a right. Either he can make the delivery and take the delivery, and the other party has an obligation to entertain it. So the option who is the holder who is having that option. The third type of contract that is dealt in is called as option contract. Option, as the name suggests, the option holder has a right. He does not have that obligation to make or take that delivery. The other party has an obligation to make or take the delivery. So in an option contract, only one party has an obligation. The other party has the right to buy, or you can say sell, an asset. So the other party who has an obligation, you can say that party is having the risk. So in order to compensate that risk, the option holder used to pay a premium for bearing that risk to the other party. The party who has an obligation to buy or sell an asset is called as option writer, and the party who has the right to make or take that delivery is called as option holder. So basis this, these options can be classified as buy option or put option. Buy option, you can say call option, is a right to buy. So if you have a call option, you have to right to buy that asset at a particular price. And put option means you have that right to sell that asset at a specified price. The price at which that option can be dealt in is called a strike price or the exercise price. For example, you are the option holder and I am an option writer. If you are having a call option, let's say you have share A, a share of ITC. At present that share has a market value of 200 rupees. You are expecting that might be the share price will rise in 2 months. So if you purchase that share at 200, you can sell it to 200. However, if you purchase it now, after 2 months you can sell it for 250. Right? But there's an expectation that might be that share will rise. So if you get a call option, for getting that call option you have to pay me a premium, because irrespective of the price, I have to meet my obligation. I have to deliver that share to you. So I'll get one premium which is called as option premium. Let's say that is 10 rupees. Now after 2 months, you've already spent 10 rupees as of now. After 2 months, that share price has been increased to 220. You have an option to buy that share at 200 and sell that at 220 at the market price. So you have a benefit of 20 rupees. But since you have already paid me 10 rupees premium, so the net benefit or gain to you is 10 rupees. This is the call option, that you have a right to buy an asset at after a specified date. Similarly, put option is right to sell. So when you are expecting that the share price will fall, you have that right that you can sell that asset irrespective of what the market price is going on at a specified price. So this way, basis that which party has an option and what type of option he has, options can be classified as call option or put option. Now, let's say that this contract is to be delivered in 2 months. Basis that how when you can use your option or when you can exercise your option, options are classified as European option and American option. When the option can only be exercised on the expiration date, so in our example it's 2 months, it is called as European option. And American option is the one when you have a right that you can exercise your option anytime before the expiration date. So within this 2 month span you can exercise, you have a right that you can either buy or sell the asset at that specified price, exercise price. Right, let's do an example to understand both these options. So Mr. E is interested in buying a share of ITC. He is however afraid that the share price may rise. Hence he does not purchase the share, but he buys a call option for one share at a strike price of 300 by paying an option premium of rupees 35. Now Mr. E has a right that he can buy a share at 300 irrespective what the market price of share is going on. To buy that share he has already paid a premium of rupees 35. So when you are expecting that Mr. E will get benefit, let's say the market price is 350. He has a right that he can buy that share at 300 and can sell that share at 350 because the MPS is going on as 350 by making a profit of rupees 50. But since he has already paid a premium of rupees 35, so what is the actual cost for Mr. E? 300 plus 35. Because when he is going to sell that asset for 335, at that position he is not even having gain and he does not have loss. So it's a zero gain, zero loss position, and that point is called as break-even point. So the first question is, determine the break-even point of Mr. E. So break-even point is the exercise price plus option premium 335, because at this position he will neither earn anything nor lose anything. If the price is below 335, then he will have a loss. And at this position, whatever the market price is there, so if the market price is above 335, then only he will have gain. Now, what is the maximum loss that Mr. E will incur? 35 rupees. Because if the price is below 335, then Mr. is not going to exercise his option, and the loss only he has because he has a right. He does not have an obligation to buy that asset. So if the price is below 335, he will not exercise his option, and the only loss that he has is the premium amount, which is 35 rupees. And now what about the profit? Whenever the price is above 335, he is going to exercise his option. So the profit is unlimited. Let's say if the price is 400, then he will have a gain of 65 rupees. So whatever the price will rise in that time span, there is no limit over the profit. And for the loss, there is a limit. So that loss for an option holder is only equal to the premium amount he has paid. However, for gain, there is an unlimited gain. Now, if I talk about the option writer, let's say in our example it was me. So what is the profit that I have? it is limited to the extent of premium I have received. Because if you are having a loss greater than your premium, you are not going to exercise your option. And what about the loss? If the price has been risen to 400, then you can have a gain of 65 and I will incur a loss of rupees 65. So for an option writer, there is a limited profit but an unlimited loss that could incur. Right? So the next question is that if I have to compute profit and loss at different maturity price, if the price is 250, 270, 290, 300, 350 and so on. So if the price is 250, Mr. E has a right to buy that asset at rupees 300. If the price is 250, he is not going to exercise his option. So what he will do? He will not exercise his option, but he has already purchased that option by paying a premium. So that premium amount is the loss he has incurred. Until unless he'll reach the break-even point of 335, he will not exercise his option. So the loss before 335 market price, which is less, the market value of the share is less than 335. The loss is equal to 35 rupees. When the market price will increase over and above 335, in our case is 340 and 360, Mr. E will have a benefit for an amount over and above the break-even point. So 340 means that Mr. E will have a gain of rupees 5, and when the market price is 360, Mr. E will have a profit of rupees 15. Let's do one more example. So we did for a call option. Now what if you buy a put option? When you're going to buy a put option, when you assume that the market may fall, so you get that right that you can sell at that specified rate, irrespective that what the market price is actually going on. Mr. G is hoping that the price of a share is going to fall. He purchased the put option at an exercise price of rupees 480. So he pays a premium of rupees 40. Determine the break-even point of Mr. G. Now for Mr. G, if the market price after 2 months, let's say, is 480 only, then how much loss Mr. G will incur? 40 rupees. When will he has a benefit? When the market price will fall beyond 480, like below 480. But since he has already paid a premium of 40 rupees, to cover up that premium amount, the market price should fall beyond 440. 480 less 40 rupees. Put option is right to sell. He has an option to sell that asset. So when the market price is below 440, let's say it is at 430, he has an option to sell it at 480 rupees. So he'll buy that asset at 430 and will exercise his right to sell that asset at 480 by making a profit of rupees 50. But since he has already paid a premium of rupees 40, the net gain Mr. G has is 10 rupees only. So what is the break-even point in Mr. G's condition? It is 480 less 40, which is 440. So Mr. G will get a benefit only when the share price is below rupees 440. At 440, Mr. G will neither gain anything nor lose anything. Now what is the profit and loss to Mr. G if the price of maturity is 400, 420, 440 and that extends to 530? Now till the break-even point, which is 440, Mr. G will have nil loss. If the price is above 440, Mr. G will not exercise his option. Say if the market price is 480 rupees and Mr. G has a right to sell that asset at 440. Why he is going to buy at 480 and then going to sell it at 440? Buy. Similarly, the price is 500. He has to buy an asset at 500 and going to sell at 440. Does that make sense? No. So if the price is above 440, the loss Mr. G will incur is the premium amount he has paid. So 40 rupees is the loss Mr. G is going to incur. When the price will fall below 440, 420 and 400, he will gain whatever is the amount below 440. So in 420, Mr. G will gain 20 rupees. When the strike price is 480, when the market price is 400, Mr. G will gain 40 rupees. Perfect. Now let's do one more example. When an holder, or you can say option holder, takes a combination of call and put option based on his expectation. Mr. G is expecting wide fluctuation in stock of Reliance. He buys one call option at a strike price of rupees 700 by paying a premium of rupees 45, along with a put option at a strike price of rupees 650. So strike price for call option is 700 and strike price for put option is 650. Required to compute the cost of strategy. So cost of strategy is the total expense that Mr. G has incurred. So while entering the strategy, the total expense is the total premium Mr. G has paid. So for buying that call option, he has paid a premium of rupees 45. For buying that put option, he has paid a premium of rupees 35. So cost of strategy is the total expense Mr. G has incurred. So for buying that call option, Mr. G has paid a premium of rupees 45. And for buying that put option, Mr. G has paid a premium of rupees 35. So Mr. G has already expensed rupees 80 for taking that call and put option. So the cost of strategy is the total expense Mr. G has incurred, or you can say is the total premium amount, because this is the expense he has already incurred. This is not gonna recovered, right? So cost of strategy is 35 plus 45 equals to rupees 80. If I have to compute break even point, so he has one call option, one put option. So Mr. G will benefit, or you can say will at a nil cost ratio only when he is going to recover his rupees 80 along with the strike price. Now let's do one more example in which an investor takes both a buy and a call option according to its strategy at different strike price. Mr. G is expecting wide fluctuation in stock of Reliance. He buys one call option at a strike price of rupees 700 by paying a premium of rupees 45, along with a put option at a strike price of rupees 650 by paying a premium of rupees 20. Now what does that mean? That Mr. G has a right to buy a share at rupees 700 and also has a right to sell a share at rupees 650. Required to compute the cost of strategy. So cost of strategy is the total expense incurred by Mr. G. So for buying this call and put option, what is the total expense? It is the total premium amount. So Mr. G has paid rupees 20 on put option and 45 on call option. So the cost of strategy is 20 plus 45 equals to rupees 65. Now what if I have to compute the break even point? So for a call option, which Mr. G has a right to buy at 700. At present, if the price is 700, then there is a loss equal to the cost of strategy, 65. When the price will rise beyond 765, because 65 rupees he has already incurred, and the profit will be there only when that amount covers that premium amount and he gains benefit over and above the premium. So when he can buy that asset when the market price is above 765, only then he is not in a gain nor in a loss situation. So that is the break even point for call option. Similarly, if I have to compute the break even point for put option, he should be in a position that when he sells that asset, he should not gain anything, nor should not lose anything. So he can sell that asset at rupees 65 when the market price falls beyond 585. At that position, he could only recover the premium amount he has paid, but will not gain or lose anything else. So for the put option to be exercised, the price should fall beyond 585, and for the call option to be exercised, the price should rise above 765. So person has both the options. So we are going to compute the profit and loss in different scenarios, taking both the call and put option into consideration. So if the market price of share is 500, so prices have fallen down, he has an option to buy that asset at 700 or to sell that asset at 650. So when the prices have fallen to 500, he will not exercise his call option but will exercise his put option. So he will sell that asset at 585 at 650, sorry. But he has also paid the premium. So Mr. G will exercise his put option and will sold the asset for 500. So Mr. G in such scenario will exercise his put option. He'll buy the share at 500 and will sell it off at 650. But there's an expense also that he has already incurred, which is equal to 65 rupees. So the net gain is 150 less 65, which is 85 rupees. Similarly, in the situation of 550, Mr. G will exercise his put option. So the price below 585 is the gain. So he will gain rupees 35. When the strike price, or you can say when the market price is 600. Now, though he has a right to sell at 650, but he has also paid a premium amount. So when the price is 600, Mr. G will exercise his put option. He will sell that asset at rupees 50 by getting a benefit of rupees 50 less the premium amount that he has already paid, which is 65. So there will be a net loss of rupees 15. And the strike price is 650. So this is at this position only the premium loss is the loss incurred, because at such situation Mr. G will not exercise his option. When the price is 700, obviously he is not going to exercise his put option. He has that call option to buy that asset at 700. So when the market price is 700, the premium amount is the only loss he will incur. So when will Mr. G will have the benefit? When the market price is above 700 plus 65. So when the market price is above 765, he'll gain. So when Mr. G will have a benefit, when the market price will be above 765. So if the market price is 780, Mr. G will exercise his call option by getting a benefit of rupees 15. Similarly, if the price is 850, so the gain will be 850 less 765, 85 rupees is the gain. Now let's do, this is the last illustration we are doing for option. Now in this option, in this illustration, the investor will purchase one call option and two put option. Mr. E is hoping that share of Reliance are expected to fluctuate. However, he hopes that fall in price is more likely than the rise in prices. So he buys one call option and two put options at a strike price of rupees 500 by paying a premium of rupees 40 for call and rupees 30 each for the put option. Compute the cost of strategy. So cost of strategy is always the total expense that investor has incurred. So the option holder has incurred 40 for one call and 30 for one put, 30 for another put. So the total cost to strategy is 40 plus 30 plus 30 because he has bought two put option. So the cost of strategy is 100 rupees. Now break even points. You have to compute that at what position he will not be in a losing situation, not in a gaining situation. So for call option, he has the strike price of rupees 500. The share should be priced above 600, which is 500 plus 100 rupees. Only at that position he will gain some benefit. So the break even point for call option is strike plus cost of strategy, which is 600. And now if I have to compute break even point for put option, Mr. He has two put option, right? So when the strike price, now to compute the break even point for put option, Mr. G has two put. So the cost of strategy will be divided by 2 because let's say if the market price of the share is rupees 400, he can sell that share at 500, right? So what he will do, if the market price is 400, he'll buy two shares at 500 and will sell both of them at 400. Now since Mr. E has two put option, he'll buy the two put shares at 400 each and will sell them at 500 each. So the gain will be 200 rupees. Since the cost of strategy is 100, he'll make a benefit of rupees 100. So in order to compute the break even point, the break even point will be 50 because he can recover 50 bucks from one put option exercising and 50 bucks from exercising the other option. So to compute the break even point in put option, it will be strike price less half of cost of strategy. So half is basically he has two put option. If he has three put option, it would be 1 by 3 of cost of strategy because he is going to recover that premium amount from all the exercising all the put options. So for put option, the break even point is 450. So if I have to compute the profit and loss at different market price, he'll exercise the put option when the market price is below 450 and he'll exercise the call option when the market price is above 600. Between 450 to 600, he'll not exercise any of the option and the total loss will be the premium amount he has paid, or you can say 100 rupees, the cost of strategy. So when 350, he'll exercise both his put option. The put option strike price is 500. So he will make a benefit of 150 from each, less the premium paid, which is 100 rupees. So the profit is 200. And you can also compute like the put option break even point is 450. So 450 less 350 is 100. So 100 rupees is the benefit for one put option. So for two put option, the benefit is rupees 200. Similarly, if the market price is 650, the strike price is 500, the break even point is 600. So it is 50 points above 600. So the gain will be 50 rupees. And this is to compute the profit and loss when the person has such strategy. Thank you. That's all for today. In case of any questions, just let me know. Thank you and have a nice day. Just keep smiling.